Shalom, Yahawah. This is your brother Yahawah from GMS Tampa Bay 07, coming at you with this here truth again. First and foremost, I want to give all praise unto Yahawah, Bahashim, Yahweh Shah, Waharakah Kadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone that taught me this truth and that rule well. And salutation and much love for you. I can push this truth and sincerity in the four corners of the earth and enduring afflictions. All right, I'm going to get into this here quick little lesson dealing with with these different gods and stuff like that, you know. Not really going to go into the different gods or some of the gods that people worship or anything like that, but just basically our people, you know, they have this passion for worshiping all kind of other gods, you know. And contrary to, you know, popular belief, there is only one actual power, one living power, and that's the Most High, Yahawah, you know, and he comes through in the name of his son, Yahawah, okay? But nevertheless, you know, there are other gods, you know, and the Bible speaks about other gods, you know, but they're not really, like, how do I say, real powers, okay? But people sit there and they worship these things as if they are God. So in a sense, they you know, in the world, they pretty much have a saying you put the pussy on a pedestal. You putting something up on a pedestal, more or less to say, you know, and you worshiping it as if it's your God, you know. You making something more than what it really is, you know. And so a lot of things become gods unto people, you know, whether it be a car or this or that, you know. And this is one of the reasons I don't really like saying God, you know, because, you know, that's a title. Which God are you talking about, you know? If you worship a fucking roll of toilet paper, then that's your God, you know? It's not saying that is the Most High, but that's just your God, you know? Obviously, that's a real God unto you. That's something that it has power over you because you gave it unto it, you know? Not necessarily saying it has any power to do anything, but, you know, you just sitting there bowing down into it, you know? And our people have all kind of crazy shit they worship. But nevertheless, we're going to just jump right into it. This is the book of, this is Psalm, the 96th Psalm. Start at verse 4. It says, "For Yahawah is great and greatly to be praised. He is to be feared above all gods." Okay? So, here you have basically, you know, like the scriptures basically letting you know that there's other gods, okay? Not saying that they have any kind of powers or anything like that, that the Most High has to contend with these other gods and they have to battle it out, and, you know, there's a struggle or anything like that. No, it's just like, it's like, you know, you see a kid, right, that has like a teddy bear or something, right, and that's their so-called imaginary friend. They got the teddy bear, like, talking or whatever, or, like little boys playing with action figures, like little wrestling toys, right, and, they playing along doing this and that, you know, or whatever, whatnot. But they're the ones making up the conversation, you know. Oh, my teddy bear wants this and that. You know, you would look at a child like, you know, that's kind of funny. You know, they having a little tea party, you know, with the teddy bear and this and that. But you gave the teddy bear life. The teddy bear you speaking for it and this and that. You giving it so-called power to keep you entertained in that moment, you know. But in all actuality, that teddy bear is nothing more than just a bunch of fabric and cotton, basically. It don't have no real power. You the one gave it power, you know. And it don't really have no real power, you know. It says, "For Yahawah is great and greatly to be praised. He is to be feared above all gods. For all the gods of the nations are idols." Okay? "But Yahawah have made the heavens." Okay? "Honor and majesty are before him. Strength and beauty are in his sanctuary." Okay? So, basically it says, "For all the gods of the nations are idols, but Yahawah made the heaven." Yeah, basically these little idols, they nothing more than just like, more or less trinkets on a damn shelf, you know. They're not really moving or doing nothing, you know. Or you playing, you know, when you was a kid, you play with the little army soldiers, those little green men with the little flat platform up under them, you know, to keep them standing up, you know. You play with those little things, and you would have little fake wars and this and that, and you would knock the little soldiers over and make the little gun sounds, pow, 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 all this, you know, as a little kid, you know, playing with all these things. But you're giving those action figures, not saying that you was worshiping him as a god, but this is an analogy. You know, you're giving life unto these so-called soldiers. These soldiers are in a certain position. You know, if you have one that's kneeling, he's not really moving his legs to run. You picking him up, you know, and moving him around, giving him movement. Then you giving him the dialogue in which you're speaking with, you know. And so it would be foolish, you know, as you look at a child giving all the, you know, you coming up with all the dialogue for all of that stuff. They're not doing that naturally, you know. So for an adult, you know, how an adult looks at a child with that, like, you know, they just fucking around. They ain't really doing nothing, you know. You look at your child playing with these little army men and stuff like that, and there's a so-called war going on with these little army men. You're not worried about your house getting torn up and bombs and bullets flying through your house because you know that this is all made up. It's just some little kid playing with toys, you know what I'm saying, and creating all the things that's going on around this. Like, boom, boom, bombs, and he's shooting and killing and this and that. But there's no real bullets. There's no real guns. There's no real bombs. None of that is really going on. It's just little plastic toys, you know, that somebody molted and put into a mold and shaped it like that, all right? But, you know, so that's the same way with these idols. You over here creating all these things up and giving it the dialogue and all these things that it's supposed to have, you know? My next scripture is the book of Isaiah. What was it? I'm going to start, I started verse 20. This is Isaiah 45 and 20. Assemble yourselves and come. Draw near together, ye that are escaped of the nations. They have no knowledge that set up wood of their graven image and pray unto a God that cannot save. Yeah, so, you know, I forgot which type of people do this, but, you know, you have those, so, like, people will carve out of trees, like, these little mask or little, like, images of so-called, like, people or images of something that's, like, you know, I ain't gonna say human, whatever the fuck it looks like, but it's an image of something basically like a living thing, whether it be a monster, a deity, or whatever the fuck they got, you know. People will carve these things up out of wood and all these types of things, and they worship them, you know, like the little Buddha statue, you know, things like that. All these little things, they create these things out of you know, out of things that are around, you know. They shape these things, you know. Beforehand, that 2x4 was just a piece of wood. It was just a 2x4, and you done made it into a little Buddha doll or whatever kind of god you want to make it into and worship it, you know. And before it was a 2x4, it was just naturally a tree, you know. You walk past that tree every damn day, you know. And not just that, you had to water the tree and plant the tree, all these different things to give it life, but you're going to worship it like it created you, you know. It says, tell ye and bring them near, yea, let them take counsel together, who have declared this from ancient time. Yeah, so like, you know, this is the Most High going a lot about this, you know, who declared it from the beginning, the end from the beginning, you know. They ain't telling you no prophecies of what's to come and how did all these things come to pass, man. Come on now. It says, who have told it from that time? Have not I, Yahawah, and there is no God else beside me, a just power and a savior, and there is none beside me. Okay? The Most High is like, yo, I'm the creator of all this, and don't nobody help me out. I created everything that you see in the things you don't see. And nobody gave me no power or nothing like that. I don't have no God. First of all, the Most High ain't in need of nothing. However, if he was hypothetically in need of something, he wouldn't be crying out to nobody else. He would just speak and it, therefore it would be. Okay? It says, look unto me, and you shall be saved, all the ends of the earth, for I am Yahawah, and there is none else. I have sworn by myself, the word is gone out. Hold on, let me go back up, because there's a little room for these scoffers to get in here. It says, look unto me, and you should be saved, all the ends of the earth. Okay? So, you know, the room for the scoffers is, see, that's everybody. You know, they can be saved. Well, the Israelites are scattered to the four corners of the earth. All right? And we're going to get that. We're going to clarify that at the bottom. It says, for I am Yahawah, and there is none else. I have sworn by myself, the word is gone out of my mouth in righteousness and shall not return, that unto me every knee shall bow, every tongue shall swear. Surely shall one say, in Yahawah have I righteousness and strength, even to him shall men come, and all that are increased in him shall be ashamed, or incensed in him, Salakia, and all that are incensed in him shall be ashamed. Yeah, like 2/3 of our damn people, you know, who scoff at us when we trying to show them the real power, you know. They're going to wake up to everlasting shame when we were trying to show them they was worshiping the devil the whole time, you know. That's going to be a hard burden to carry, you know. When they wake up and say, nah, we was out there persecuting the Israelites, you know, and trying to prop up and keep and fight this battle for the devil, you know. We was over here going hard for the devil when the Lord was actually trying to save us, you know what I'm saying, and not bring this destruction, you know. They're going to wake up to that everlasting shame for that, you know. And this is the kill that little room for these scoffers talking about to all the ends of the earth. Verse 25. And Yahawah shall all the seed of Israel be justified and shall glory. So that's what he's talking about to the ends of the earth. It's all Israel. All right. Next scripture. This is the book of Deuteronomy chapter 4. I'm going to read verse 27 and 28. It says, "And the Lord shall scatter you among the nations, and you shall be left few in number among the heathen, whither Yahawah shall lead you. And there you shall serve gods, the work of men's hands." All right? So these gods that you worshiping didn't create a goddamn thing. They was created by a goddamn creation that was created by the Most High, and that creation being base, vain men. Okay? It says, "And there you shall serve gods, the work of men's hands, wood and stone, which neither see, nor hear, nor eat, nor smell." Yeah, and so the wood and stone, you know, because this is talking about Jake. What are the two major religions that Jake worship over here, basically in Babylon, all right? The wood that they worship, or the stone that they worship, will be the cobblestone in that fucking religion, I don't even know what to fucking call it, but it's the Nation of Islam, all right? That's what they worship, you know, up under, you know, I don't want to call it, the Islamic religion, because it's a little different, you know. But nevertheless, you know, that's the stone that they worship, which is the cobblestone over there in Mecca, okay? And then the wood that they serve, it says, "And you shall serve gods of the work of men's hands, wood and stone." The wood that they worship is that wooden cross, okay? So-called Jesus Christ, all right? This is what they worship. These are the two major religions or gods that plague our people right now, all right? You don't see the majority of our people being Buddhists or nothing like that. Is majority they follow in Farrakhan and the Nation of Islam, or they follow in Christianity. All right. The next scripture I'm gonna grab, still in the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, and verse 36. It says, "And Yahawah shall bring thee and thy king which thou shalt set over thee unto a nation which neither thou or thy fathers have known." Okay, and there shalt thou serve other gods, wood and stone. Okay, so we just read basically the same thing. All right, it's basically saying the same thing. "And thou shalt become an astonishment, a proverb, and a byword among all the nations, whether Yahawah shall lead thee." Yeah, because see, you done left your power. You provoked the Most High to jealousy. All right. Let me see where I'm at. Let me grab that real quick. It says, this is Deuteronomy 32, verse 5, talking about the Israelites, okay, and in relation to the Most High, okay. It says the Israelites, talking about the Israelites, "They have corrupted themselves. Their spot is not the spot of his children. They are a perverse and crooked generation." All right. Jumping down to verse 16. Yeah, verse 16. "They provoked him to jealousy." Hold on. They provoked him to jealousy with strange gods and abominations. Provoked they him to anger. They sacrificed unto devils, not unto God, to gods whom they knew not, to new gods that newly came up, whom your fathers feared not. Okay, "Of the rock that begot thee, thou art unmindful, and has forgotten the God which formed thee." Okay, "And when Yahawah saw it, abhorred them. When it saw it, he abhorred them because of the provoking of his sons and daughters." All right. So, you know, searching out all these other gods and stuff like that, you know, wood and stone and all this stuff. Hey, the Most High, hey, this is why, you know, our people are becoming an astonishment byword of proverb, you know, because you serving these other gods. You didn't left your power to worship these other gods, all right? Sacrificing unto devils. Everybody else is looking at us like, yo, we the only people the Most High dealing with, but yet we want to go serve basically idols, you know. My next scripture is going to be in the book of Jeremiah. Jeremiah 7 and 17. Seest thou not what they do in the cities of Judah and in the streets of Jerusalem? The children gather wood, and the fathers kindle a fire, and the women knead dough, and make cakes to the Queen of Heaven, and pour out drink offerings unto other gods, that they may provoke me to anger. Okay? Now this Queen of Heaven spirit is, you know what I'm saying? Like, first of all, they kneading dough. It's like, this is where, this all goes like to like Semiramis and shit like that, with the birthday candles and all this stuff, and the birthday cakes. and all this stuff. This is what they talking about, your birthday cakes and the candles and all this celebration, worshiping the Queen of Heaven, all right? And it says also, they poured out the drink offering unto other gods that they may provoke me to anger. Do they provoke me to anger, saith Yahawah? Do they not provoke themselves to the confusion of their own faces? Yeah, so like you losing your own power and you basically becoming a Gentile. You know what I'm saying? Like, well, fuck. If you're not the Lord's people, then who is? It ain't the damn devil. You motherfuckers are supposed to be the Lord's people. Y'all righteous and you want to follow after the damn devil, man. That's just some reprobate stuff, you know? This is why the Most High brought down that judgment on us. This is the book of Daniel. Both of these are going to be in the book of Daniel. This is Daniel chapter 5. All right, I'm gonna grab what is it, 5 and 24, 5 and over 5. So I can give me 1 second. Come on. All right, this is Daniel 5 and 4. Okay, they drank wine and praised the gods of gold and of silver and of brass, iron, wood, and of stone. Okay, now this is talking about what is that? Belteshazzar. This is in what they call the story of the handwriting on the wall, you know. So when they was in the temple and dealing with that, you know. But where is that? 24, 23. Let me grab this as well. This is Daniel 5 and 23. But has lifted up thyself against. Hold on, let me go back. 22. And though his son, O Belteshazzar, has not humbled thy heart, though thou knowest all this, but has lifted up thyself against the Lord of heaven, that they have brought the vessels of his house before thee, and thou and thy lords, thy wives, and thy concubines have drunk wine in them, and thou hast praised the gods of silver, gold, of brass, iron, wood, and stone, which see not, nor hear, nor know, and the God in whose thy hand, and the God in whose hand thy breath is, and whose all thy ways are, thou art not glorified. All right. Now these are these heathen worshiping, these other gods of gold, silver, wood, and all these, all these little different things. But what else? Our people like to follow after all these other people, so we follow after, these other people and their gods. This is how vain it is, So this is where it all comes from. These other nations, they worship these little trinkets and idols and stuff like that, We actually have a real living power, but see, our people, they heathens, but our people, they don't even understand what they got going for them or what's around them. I want to read this last line. It says, and the God in whose hand thy breath is, and whose are all thy ways, has thou not glorified. So the one who your very breath, like, man, I read this the first time, and this is crazy, What's keeping your lungs pumping and your heart beating? You see what I'm saying? You're not in control. Like when you go to sleep, you're not in control of telling yourself, oh, I got to breathe before I suffocate. You don't have to tell your heart to keep pumping. What's telling your heart to keep pumping and your lungs to keep breathing, even if you sleep, conscious, not conscious, You get knocked out, somebody's come and swing on you and knock you unconscious, your heart's still pumping and your breath is still breathing, right? And who is in control of that? The Most High, Yahawah Shem Yahushua. But are you mindful unto that power? No, you worship these goddamn the gods of the heathen, the gods of the heathen worship, like golden cups and shit like that, golden cows and shit, things that you have to form and fashion, you have to work to make, you worship those things, But with that, I'm gonna go ahead and close out with that, just touching on that, because our people like to worship all kind of different gods, and like we was reading here with the gold and the silver and stuff like that, whether or not you'll call yourself a so-called religious person with a so-called religion and things like that, our people go out there and worship like the gold, the silver, and all that type of stuff the same way, whether it be some Jordans, whether it be some rims, cars, money, our people like to look at all these rappers and stuff like that, or people want to follow up under these rappers. Why? Because they get the money to go buy the cars and all these extra different things, and they go and worship all these things. Oh, I got a brand new Bugatti. I'm such and such because I'm Gotti so and so, You worshiping these material things that man had to make and make it, so fast. Look how fast this car is, this and that. Well, man created that. But then, and not only that, who created that man and gave him that intelligence to make all that? Of that power you are unmindful, Stop worshiping these little idols and these trinkets. That's for the heathen, We got a real living power, all right? With that, I'm going to go ahead and close out and say, Kal Halal Yahawah, Bahashim Yahawah Waha Rakah Kadash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone that taught me this truth and that rule well. And salutation and much love for you. I can push this truth and sincerity on the four corners of the earth. Stay strong. Shalom.